Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to High School Never Ends, a pop punk dad podcast. I am Wingman Steve.
And I am Chris 183.
And here we are. It's the end of the year 2023. I hope everybody had a healthy, happy, successful 2023. And to celebrate that, we have one more episode in our little mini series that we're calling 2023 Look Back. And today we're going to talk about a band that we've talked about before, but it's kind of been a while, Chris, right? We haven't talked too much about this band in a little bit.
And it makes me sad, to tell you the truth, because this is definitely one of my favorite bands from way, way back in the day. I said earlier in this series that I thought we were talking about songs from 2003. This album makes me feel like I'm back in that vicinity, to be honest with you. And this band, absolutely, every time I hear their iconic album, Page Avenue, I feel like I am back in 2003 to 2005. Steve, do you feel the same way about this band?
Yeah, I'm a pretty big Story of the Year fan. This is Story of the Year's new record. It's called Tear Me to Pieces. It's relatively new. It's a look back on 2023. It came out in March. But I was huge into Page Avenue. And like, you know me, I'm not necessarily the biggest like screamo, screaming type fan, but these guys were always like the one that I thought were awesome, especially Page Avenue. I loved when they did an acoustic version. I think it might have been a 10-year or something. I don't know. They did an acoustic version of Page Avenue, which was awesome. And I'll say that like I've been a fan since, but I haven't been as like mega into every single album. So I was glad that we were going to like shine a spotlight on this one so that I can kind of get back into it. And I think this album, I think those same vibes are coming back from 2005 or 3. I was quoting one of their songs there.
Do you think that, because I feel the same way about, and I don't dislike any of their music in between. I'm just not as close to it. I mean, I don't know why I drifted away. I don't know why, because I feel like this band just knows how to write music that I like. And I feel like you are in the same boat with that. So it's super interesting why we both kind of drifted in that middle part. I mean, how tight were you with their entire catalog after Story of the Year?
So
after Page Avenue. I apologize. Yeah.
I'm trying to think back. So if I were to, just by looking at like the release dates of their records, I think, so Page Avenue came out 2003. The next one, In the Wake of Determination, came out 2005. And I'm pretty sure that I bought that album, but I don't know, maybe I just didn't get into it as much. I can't remember if it was a little bit more on the screamy side and less on the kind of punk and post-hardcore vibe. So I guess maybe my interest in that one was a little bit less. And then honestly, like the Black Swan came out in 2008. The Constant came out in 2010. Then they had nothing until 2017 when Wolves came out. So I feel like in that, like, I don't know, 2008 to like 2015-ish time, I just don't think that I pulled a whole lot of new music at all. So kind of missed them. And I did get into the last album, Wolves. I definitely listened to that one. But I mean, it's been 5 years since that came out in 2017. So I guess maybe that's why I never got as deep into the catalog. But I mean, Page Avenue always holds a special place for sure.
You know, that's an interesting thing to say when we talk about that gap in time, that 08 to 15, because I feel like for me too, and we're a little bit different in age group, but not too much different. But that was the time where I too kind of drifted away from a lot of new music. Like there was stuff that came out and I listened to it, but new stuff unless they were like bands that I like was really just involved with, like Blink 182 or like the bigger names. For some reason I fell away from really following. Now, I enjoyed their follow-up album to Page Avenue. You said it, the name's escaping me.
In the Wake of Determination.
In the Wake of Determination. Yeah. I had the CD. I have it. I loved it. I played it over and over and over again. So I, of course, always am one to like that harder sound when we're listening to different types of genres. But yeah, so I don't know. Like I feel like after that, I just got into other things. I wanted to listen to maybe all the same stuff I had before, and didn't really have the appetite that I had, maybe in previous years for continuing on with just certain bands, which to me is probably a shame, right? I feel like I could have missed out on a lot. So it's either here or there. We're in 2023 right now, about to transition and to a new year. And it's fortunate for us that we have the opportunity to really deep dive what I consider to be another great album from this band.
Yeah, and one other thing about that, just that point in time, is just like the way that we listened to music was kind of shifting at that time, right? So back 0305, like, I mean, me personally, I was definitely buying CDs. And I didn't have Spotify until, I don't know, 2020, maybe like that. So you would have to, like, if I wanted something, I would either have to like download it and then put it on a phone, or rip a CD, or buy a CD. And I think I just wasn't as close to maybe the physical media. So maybe that was a reason. Like now, a new album comes out, I'm like, all right, well, I don't have anything to lose because I can just listen to it like in a second. I can have that on my phone, my car, my computer, whatever, through Spotify. Before, you had to like actually buy a record or like physically do like a download and a transfer or something like that. So it was a little bit more involved. So I guess when I was starting to become a grown up post college, that's where I I guess the way that I consumed music was a little different.
And I resisted that too. Like I personally just resisted streaming a ton of music during that period of time. I didn't want to. I wanted to listen to my physical media. I'm a physical media type of person. I still buy physical video games. I still purchase CDs where I can. Obviously, I am the new authority on vinyl for High School Never Ends, the show. And so physical media is my thing, and it always had been. And during that time, I was very resistant to streaming. So that could be another reason why I didn't necessarily pick these up, because it wasn't enough to get me up off the couch to go buy the actual disc, but I didn't have any of the streaming services to be able to listen to it that way either. So I guess I was just kind of shut out of a lot of stuff because of my stubbornness, but that's okay. I'll live with that.
Fair enough. Well, we have a new story of the year, not story of the rear. Yep. New story of the year.
That's a different thing.
Yes, it is. That came out this year. So it came out March 10th, 2023. It was put out on Sharp Tone Records. It was produced by Colin Britton. He also worked with 5 Seconds of Summer, Papa Roach, and All Time Low. There was some other help by Kevin McCombs and Lucky West with some production. It runs a pretty crisp 33 minutes for 11 songs. I think it's a pretty easy listen. And for me, one of the things that I love about Story of the Year, and one thing that I really took from this record, I think I've finally been able to figure out how to put into words my thought process on the screaming. I've always said to you, Chris, that I like tasteful screaming. I think that I'm going to amend that. And what I'm going to say is I really like screaming if you're sitting down at a meal, the screaming is the side dish rather than the main course. And there are certain songs off of Page Avenue where it is the main course, and those are okay. But in general, when I listen to bands that do screaming, I like it as a side dish rather than the main course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's where me and you differ, but that's not to say that I don't like the way that Story of the Year delivers their style. I do enjoy this style in a lot of different ways, and that's one of them. The fact that they're able to meld together a really melodic sound, sometimes, whether it be a ballad type or just a straight up like pop type melody with harder screams and metal guitars that come out of nowhere. Love that, right? I love the fact that they're able to mix all of that together to give you something that sounds amazing in a lot of different ways on the majority of tracks. So I'll take it, right? I'll take it. Now, there have been Story of the Year songs where they've been very, very screamy, and I'm down for that too. So either way, I'm here, I'm listening. And anything else to say about the album prior to the segment that we've actually abandoned that I'm going to bring back right now?
No, I think that's about it. I saw these guys this summer. They were opening up for Yellow Card, so it was cool to see them live. It was still like during the day because I think they were second of the four bands, but they put on a good show. And I think that I know that they did some touring this year, and I think they got some stuff planned for next year. So I think I want to try and catch them again.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know when they're going to be around Pittsburgh area, but I know they do tour here from time to time. So they have to get through this area to get to your area, Steve. So hopefully they stop at some point in time and I can go see them.
God willing. Wingman Steve ticket buying services are available for a nominal fee.
Yeah, but I feel like there's got to be some kind of discount or maybe a zero balance, or maybe like a discount code that brings my request down to zero because we're on a show together, and there's a lot of weight that holds.
Yeah,
so I mean,
we'll see what happens. It depends on what's the quantity of the shows being purchased and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I just get the feeling that you're trying to be like a gatekeeper to me getting to shows, and I don't like it. I feel like you should help me. I'm reaching out to you for help, and you're kind of deflecting me down, and I don't know how to feel about that.
I'm offering it. There are ticket agents that can help you. I'll be a ticket agent.
Yeah, but you want to charge me, and that's not fair.
I said nominal fee.
Speaking of nominal fees, actually, it has nothing to do with it. But let's get back to a segment that we were having so much fun with, and then all of a sudden just stopped doing, which really just kind of broke my heart. So I took it upon myself to bring it back, and that's guess the top. This isn't really a segment, but I guess it is. Guess the top song that has the most streams on Spotify. Okay, we'll come up with something catchier than that another time. But Steve, I'm going to break the rules here. I'm going to change the rules because I think that if we take a look at just the straightforward, hey, Steve, what's the number one song for Story of the Year in terms of streams? I think that's too easy because I feel like you know what it is. You don't know how many it is, but I feel like you know what it is. So let's get that out of the way. What's the number one?
By the band of all time or this record?
All time.
That's got to be Until the Day I Die.
Yeah. Do you have any guess on how many streams that one has?
I mean, it definitely had its popularity before streaming. I don't know. Maybe
here before you guess.
Yeah.
Is it under or I'd do over under? Over or under 100 million?
Under.
127,342,047.
Wow, that's a lot more than I anticipated.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're talking about a lot of years of this song being prevalent and out there. And to be honest with you, this is a song that you can listen to over and over and over and over and over and over again, and it kind of doesn't get old. So there's that. But let's talk about this album. And there's something else interesting that I want to share with you. But what is the top streaming song in your opinion, or not in your opinion, in your logical thought for this album here?
They did release. I did a little research on. So they released 6 songs, 5 songs before the record officially released, and then they released a 6th one as a single the day it came out. The first one was Real Life, but I didn't really get my eyes or ears on this new record until the song War came out. So I'm going to say, and that was the 4th one they released. So that's my guess, is War. I think that one was big.
So there are 3 in the top 5, 3 from this album. Tear Me to Pieces was at 5,493,000 streams. Real Life was at 7,833,678 streams. And number 1 from this album was War at 10,593,328 streams. Steve, you were correct.
I'm killing this segment. I'm killing it.
But you know what's interesting, and this is the last thing I'll kind of share here, is that of the top 5 currently, 3 of the top 5 are from Tear Me to Pieces.
Are you sure that you did you got to view more? A lot of times the more recent ones just come up there. They're not in order.
I'm 100% sure. There is no view more, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. There is nothing that says view more. There is nothing.
I'm on I'm on the desktop app here, and I can do a see more, so I
So
can
we don't
see
go
the
by that.
top 10.
It's my segment. We use phones in this segment, Steve.
Uh,
And in this
but I
segment,
mean, you want to be accurate, right? The
uh,
antidote has 18 million,
no, forget that.
so that
So
would
in the
be
top,
their
yeah, forget
fourth
it.
biggest.
That's all skewed data. Don't worry about it. Don't worry
That's
about any of that.
that's the real data. You got to look
Don't
at the
worry
full
about it.
picture, not just a little
Anthem
phone
of Our
screen.
Dying Day and Until the Day I Die are both from Page Avenue in my top 5 on Spotify, based on what I'm looking at here. And the other 3 are going to be from this new album. We'll leave it at that. Maybe we'll change the rules next time. But I think at the end of the day, it's a win for you because you guessed right and you guessed it pretty close. So nice job.
Other
Nice
than the
job.
amount of streams for Until the Day I Die, but
Mhm.
yes, thank you. I killed that segment. Killed it.
You did. So let's move on.
Let's.
What are we moving on to? I think, is there any other stats or anything else from the album that you want to share?
No, that's pretty much it. We went over when it came out, the record label, the producer, and yeah, so I knew that they released a new record this year, but I didn't get into it until we really kind of highlighted it for the show. I definitely heard like I think 2 of the singles, but I didn't really have any like build up to it coming out. I think they played a couple of these tracks when I saw them live, but my initial reactions were very positive. I'll say that.
Do you remember? I'm sure we went over this when we talked about the album Page Avenue, but just to refresh the listener that maybe didn't catch that episode, go back and check it out if you haven't. But how did you get into this band originally? Do you remember?
I know that I saw them like 3 times in a row on Warp Tour, but I think I already knew them by that point. It might be they were on like MTV and stuff. So I don't remember exactly how I got into them the first time I heard them, but I bought the album and then just got into it. It was just something that was a little more on the harder edge of the things that I listened to, but I totally dug it. But I don't know if it was MTV first or I heard on the radio. I do not know how I first got into them.
I know it was the radio for me. It was definitely Until the Day I Die. I heard it on the radio and I loved it. Like it was one of those instant hits in my head. Like it was amazing. I couldn't get enough of it, and it caused me to buy that album almost immediately. So big fan. I think I ruined this album completely. Like it's completely scratched to pieces.
The disc, yeah,
Yeah,
I could see
listened to it so much.
I like that they keep that
much.
like upside down, like the same kind of vibe or the logo kind of thing. I don't know if they had that on all their albums, but I like that it has that again on this one. And he's like kind of on fire and digital. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so to sort of clarify, yeah, the logo or the artwork on this album is exactly similar to Page Avenue. And that said, I was really looking for some throwbacks in the songs that they have on this album. Like, is there other connections? Why would they go that route? Is it just strictly nostalgia for that album because they just wanted to do that? It was something that they were, they just wanted to call back to that album. I don't know, right? But I think you're going to see some things here in these songs that do call out. One very obvious, but we'll get to that here in a little bit.
Yeah, and none of their other albums, I just looked through the artwork. None of them have that logo guy. So it's just a callback to Page Avenue.
Interesting. I'd love to know. I'd love to know why. I'd love to know what the reason is behind bringing that back specifically for this album. And it may not be a reason other than they just wanted to, but I'd like to know someday. I really would. So we can go ahead and dive into the songs if you're ready.
I am ready.
Let's talk about the first track then, Tear Me to Pieces. I'll tell you what, like, getting back into a Story of the Year album, you expect certain things, you expect to hear certain things. You want a song that's going to immediately just say, hey, this is the story of the year that you like. This is the story of the year that you remember. This is why you love this band. This is why you should love this album, because it is this band. I think this song does that. I just think it's such a great start to this album that does all the things I just said. So, and it is for a lot of reasons. I think the way that Dan just belts out the screams in this song when they happen is just as iconic today as it was back in 2003, 2004, 2005, just around that. Like it just brings me right back. It brings me right back. The sound in this song, the melody, it's great. It keeps you keeps you moving. It's a bouncy song. It's a very fun sing-songy melody with those harder parts built in. Exactly what I said before. It melds so well. Just regular pop rock, pop punk, whatever you want to call it, with a harder edge sound built in at the right times, at the right point. It's a head bobber. It's energy. It gets you energized. The music sounds amazing. Just gives me everything I want in a song, and especially everything I want in a Story of the Year song to kick off a great album. So I was a big fan of Tear Me to Pieces. Steve, what did you think?
Yeah, I think you said it right. These guys have, it's not like a specific formula, but they really do have this down on how to write a fucking awesome Story of the Year song. It's got that acoustic intro, followed by kind of Dan coming in and singing softly. After that, the band just fucking smashes in. There's this like chunky guitar. He works in this like low whisper sing. I can't fall asleep. Please help me. And then boom, right into this great pop punk chorus. But they throw in this like sick scream at the end. A lot of times they do like a screamo bridge. They do that screamo bridge. Lights a fucking. I can't do it with my voice. No way.
Someday.
I'm not practicing, but yeah, these guys have this type of track down to a science, and I think maybe I got to give when we're not like talking about albums or something like that. I think that I got to go back and listen to those ones in the middle, and I'm curious, like, did they follow this thing? Were they trying to do different things, or is this album just like a direct callback to the Story of the Year they were in 2003? I don't know, but they're replicating what I liked about that album, and it kicks it off really well with this first song, Tear Me to Pieces. It's a banger. The only thing I'll say is it has a little bit of an abrupt ending to it. It's not that it doesn't have enough choruses. It definitely does. But the whole I'm suffocating and I can't break free, and then it just kind of abruptly ends. I feel like I just wanted a little more to it at the end because I liked it.
Yeah, it leaves you with that memorable end. Like, oh man, okay, I don't know. You're probably right. I didn't get that, but I thought it ended pretty good. Why don't you just keep it going? Talk about the next track.
Also, so of all the 6 songs that they released as quote unquote singles, there's videos on YouTube for all of them. This one is kind of them like they're in like a church, like skateboarding. So they're kind of calling it back to that. But I'll talk. I did watch a couple of these videos, including this next one. So Real Life was actually, I didn't realize this at first, but this was the lead single. So this is the first song they released off of this record, and they released it in I think sometime in 2022. The video, and they're all directed by the same guy. I'll say his name a little later. The video is Dan and his wife, and they're all like bloody and shit, because this whole concept of this, that you and I are suicide, but that's just real life. They're taking that and visualizing it, and they're just full of blood all across this video. So this one was actually really cool. I also don't know, I can't remember them doing too much of this like synthy vibe, this floating guitar. They do work in a lot of electronic elements in this record, which I think it works out well for them. So I don't know if it's something brand new, but they're doing it. It could be this producer who's worked with, he worked with All Time Low on some of their new stuff. Of course, 5 Seconds of Summer. So they're into that kind of different electronic-y stuff. So back to Real Life. The chorus, the first time we hear the chorus, it starts off like real soft, but it comes in hard. Again, classic Story of the Year. I really just like the concept of this song. Like the concept of this song is basically like, this is a real adult relationship. So, he's not 20 or something years old. Back in 2003, he's married. I think he's a dad. He mentions being a dad later. So he's talking about a real life relationship that he has with his wife. So a lot of people that are our age, that are in these real life relationships, they can understand ups and downs, and the people that are by your side, and you want to keep them there. I really, really like the singing in the pre-chorus. Although we are in a box, like it's crazy to think that somebody has such a crazy streaky scream, but can also sing so well. And there's a scream bridge again. It works. Final chorus. They do this thing where they kind of slow it down, take some of the instruments out. They slow it down for the final chorus. There's some good oh-ohs, whoa-ohs in the background right towards the end. I mean, this does say like good single to it. That could potentially hit like, I wouldn't say pop radio, but it could hit like rock radio.
Definitely, it could hit pop radio. It could hit pop radio too. I think this fits a lot of the stuff that you're hearing. I don't think this would be abrasive for somebody listening to Top 40 radio at all. Maybe not in 2024. Maybe I take that back. But at some point in time, this definitely would have made mainstream radio. I think it has that sound. I think it's definitely a more mature track, in comparison to some other stuff. Maybe that kind of harkens back to what you said about the synthy sound, the more produced sound that they have on this track with the music. And that's okay, right? It's very pop friendly, sounds good. Actually sounds great. It's very smooth melody. Especially that guitar line. I feel like, this song just makes me feel good. It just feels good to listen to it. Like, I guess it maybe it's that synthy sound. Maybe it's that guitar. I don't know. Something about it. I just feel like, I just feel a certain way when I listen to it. So do you ever, this is probably a easy question, but do you have any songs that just make you feel good when you listen to them? Like, makes you feel a certain way, like relaxed, or like you're sitting outside in the summertime in a nice chair. It's dusk out, maybe a small fire's going. Like, you have that relaxed feeling and a content. I don't know. You have any other songs that kind of fit that mold? Putting you on the spot.
Can't think of them on the spot, but yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Can't think of one song on the spot.
No, LFO Summer Girls.
That song makes me upset.
I know, that's the only reason why I said it.
That makes me want.
How about She Likes Me for Me?
That makes me ball up my fist and get upset.
Blessed Union of Souls. Hey Leonardo.
It's a song nobody knows. Is Hey Leonardo? It's I Believe is the one everybody knows, and we've already had this conversation.
We don't need to rehash it, but that song makes me feel good.
We will, and we do, but just not today. Great song though.
New episode
Great
for that.
Song. We will have a debate episode for that someday. Find somebody that can be on your side, and I'll do the same. How about that?
So it's
all right.
It's like the song gives you a little of an afterglow.
Yeah, so much for that afterglow, though, right?
That's Everclear.
Mm-hmm. It certainly is. No, I
like Everclear. I'm an Everclear dude.
Not all of Everclear, but we could talk about that another day. Too many tangents. I love tangents, though, so we could do that all day. But let's talk about Afterglow. I think this song's good too. I think there's some really cool stuff in this. I dig the little bit more of a metal section that they have, and I really like I call it the stutter beat. I don't know if that's what you call it, but it's kind of like that bum, 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 bum. Like it's like the guitar and the drums are making that sound at the same time with a lyrical. There's a piece of the lyrics that are kind of sung behind it. Really cool stuff. I guess it's a little bit harder in nature, but I also really like the way that they say afterglow in the song. It almost feels like the word is being swallowed at the end. It's a really cool effect, and it's definitely the one thing that kind of stands out to me. But it's another really solid track. I don't know. I think that's all I got to say here. How about you, Steve? Afterglow.
The sentiment of this song like follows the song Real Life really, really nicely. Like he's from what I'm gathering, he's kind of basically saying like that his wife, his person is like his rock and they're like perfect for him. So it really follows the sentiment of that last song very well. The video for this one is like all neon-y. Everything's like all neon and they're just kind of like performing in the middle of it. I do like the mix of the kind of synthy thing with the hardness of this section of this song. There is like you mentioned it, like there's a real hard section after the chorus, basically for headbanging. There's a single scream line in the entire thing where he says, "Cut it off." So again, a lot of times they work that in like throughout, and sometimes it comes off best just once. I thought this was a really solid song again here at number 3. Thought it was really good.
So far, so good here, and I think it only gets better. And by the way, I'm watching these songs on Spotify currently, and I see the clips in a loop from these videos that you're talking about. And the interesting thing is, for the next song, "Dead and Gone," it's a really weird picture that it continues to loop. I feel like this is not a video. Like, I think it looks like a skull. I think that's what it is. It's a skull.
No video for this one that I'm aware of.
So it's a close up of a skull that keeps panning from like the eye level up to the top of the head. Then it just kind of resets. So I started things off with Afterglow. Why don't you talk about Dead and Gone?
Yeah, this one, this one, correct me if I'm wrong, has a little bit more of a kind of like a metal-y vibe, especially, or like a harder vibe on the screamy side. I don't have a ton of notes on this one, although it's totally solid. I did like the chorus. The chorus is kind of long and it's split into 2 parts. The second part, like they up the tempo. Where he goes, now it breaks my heart to watch you die by my like it seems like there's like kind of like a double, it's not a double chorus, it's a single chorus, but it's split into 2 parts. Towards the end, there's this like, I don't know, this like electronic like pulsing bridge. It goes soft into hard. There's a double chorus at the end with a big ass scream, the Dead and Gone big ass scream at the end. So I enjoyed this one. I don't think it's one of my standouts, but I did like it.
Well, for everybody out there that is in the camp of, we know what Chris 183 is going to say before he even says it. Yes, I thought this song was just a through and through banger. It has a star next to the title on my list. We're bringing the star system back just for one day only.
We brought it back the last time, didn't we?
I don't know. No, that was a different star system. This is the official star system back again for today, just because it's the last one in the series. So I had to bring it back. Had to do it.
Star. Got it.
Yeah. Why'd you say that?
I'm confirming that I understand.
Dead and Gone. I love this song. I think it has tons of energy. The sound is amazing. Just amazing. I think Dan cranked up to 11 just sounds like it's awesome. I think it's awesome. And I think, he is just full force on this track. Like, there is no slowing down for anybody in the band, including Dan at the front on lyrics. It's not like with Story of the Year, like I need this. I love some of the slower stuff. I love some of the ballads they do. However, when they commit to, hey man, we're going to do a really hard driving metal punk scream, it's just, they know how to do this too. And you got to feel that live. This is definitely a pit song, don't you think? Like this song, they want people to do a little bit of that. This is where I kind of shuffle to the back because even though I feel like I could hold my own. I feel like I could hold my own.
Yeah, I don't know. Nobody would hurt you. You could hold your own. It was weird when I saw them. It was still like daylight and it was outdoors. So I think there were a couple of small pits, but it's not the same as like an indoor venue where they're headlining or something like that.
I guess I just don't really want to take a hit if I don't have to. Like I will, and I have no problem with it. But why am I taking a hit when I just want to listen to the music? I don't know.
Make the hits and take the hits.
Talk to me out there. If you guys feel like I'm missing out on taking a hit to the back or maybe a punch to the neck, tell me why that's great. Tell me why I'm missing out and why I should look for that instead of trying to shuffle to the back and not take those kinds of punches and kicks and bumps. But I think also with this one, I really dug the produced beats. So there was some produced beats mixed into the backing track almost. And maybe I'm mishearing. It's kind of what I heard. Correct me if I'm wrong out there. But of course, whatever. It's what I heard. But I really liked it no matter what it is. And I always wonder, like, do you think this is like kind of where I stop so far? Like just kind of looking back at the songs we talked about. How much is this album like produced? Do you think it's pretty heavily produced, or do you think it's kind of somewhere in the middle?
I think it's definitely heavily produced, but it doesn't come off that way. Like I don't. There's maybe only one section where I made a note where I said that the drums sounded a little drum machiney. I'll get to that comment later. But overall, like the electronic elements, I mean, there's production in there, but I think that they could replicate these songs live, no problem. So I don't think it's to a detriment. Or when the Blink album came out, a lot of people were just commenting about the overproduction. I don't listen to this and have the same feeling.
Why is that why is that like a fail or like a parachute for a lot of people? Like why is that painted in a bad picture? Why is overproduced a term created for negativity? Like I don't understand that. Like do you get it at all? Like what are
I
your
understand
thoughts?
it because what what traditionally is put on a record, right? If it's so far away from something that could be produced live or what the original product was, then people will say it's overproduced. So there's all these different effects on guitars and voices and things thrown in there. And when I think if it sounds a little bit too far away from purity, that term gets thrown around.
But see, I disagree with that, and I want to take a second to talk about this. I know you get kind of you don't want to go off too far off topic, but I don't care. I think it's a good topic actually to just take a second and chat about these guys. Like some of these bands, they're making music. It's an art form, right? They're putting together thoughts, words, music. They're mixing things together for our entertainment to listen to what they're creating, and that could involve in the year 2023, 2024, and beyond, produce backing tracks that mix in with the music that they're making. And to me, like I don't see the problem with that. I don't see why overproduce is such a negative term, because there's no overproduction. It's either there's production in everything that's being done. So the fact that they use maybe a little bit more synth or a little bit more backing track, as long as it sounds good, who cares? If it sounds good, who cares? Now, if you're going to come to me and say, I don't think it sounds good because I don't like the way this synth beat sounds behind this guitar, then fine. I get it. But I just wish there was a little bit more of a specificity on that term overproduced. I've just been thinking about that. So, again, I don't know whether you agree or disagree. You don't have to comment, but that's my thought.
I'm not one that sits that sits out there and complains about overproduction, so I can't defend it at all. I don't really have a dog in that fight, other than saying like I understand why there's some things that can come off or seem overproduced, but I don't know that the people that would say that about certain things would say that about this record in particular. So maybe we'll put that back in our box for our debate episodes.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Production versus overproduction.
I'm going to take the stance where there's no such thing as overproduction. That's just a made up term, just like the word stale. I don't think stale exists. I don't think there is such a thing as stale bread. I don't think things go stale. I think that's a manufactured term to make it so you buy new things.
I would disagree on that. Tostitos definitely get stale.
No, they're fine.
I mean, they're edible, but there's a quite a difference in taste.
I think stale's made up.
Interesting. We are just packing the list of debate, like hot take episodes right now.
Is somebody writing all this down? I'm not. I don't have a pen.
Officially, we're on the record. Someone out there, write it down. Remind us later.
Yeah, please.
Go ahead.
Who's the official scribe of High School Never Ends, the podcast?
You are?
I don't have a pen. How can I be the scribe?
You got a computer and a phone.
I can't. The computer doesn't work.
Notes app.
It doesn't type, and I can't because I'm watching the Spotify loop of a skull on my phone. So how can I do that?
What's the Spotify loop for War? Because there's a video for this one.
So the loop is actually, this is a really good one. So first of all, it's the video, obviously, that reminds me of Sabotage from the Beastie Boys. So that's number one. But the really cool thing is in the loop, there's an explosion. There's a guy getting hit in the back with a gun, I guess. And then there's this guy that kind of flies through the air and I guess eventually hits the ground, but you never see it. So it's kind of a really fun loop. Have you seen this video?
Yeah, so I wrote down the guy's name. All of the videos are directed by, his name is Jordan Phoenix out of St. Louis. And yeah, this video is pretty fun. It doesn't fit with the song necessarily, but it's basically like a 70s inspired action TV show kind of theme. So they're like, they're doing karate and beating up bad guys and shooting things and stuff like that. Kind of reminds me of like, yeah, Sabotage, or like that in Boogie Nights where they make that they make that TV show they're trying to make in that movie. So something like that.
What's the guy? What's his name in Boogie Nights? It's
Dirk Diggler?
In the show. No, not his name, but the name in that show.
Oh, that I don't remember.
Did brick something?
It does sound familiar. I can't officially confirm, but I can officially confirm that that War is a really good song. It's so much that I was actually, so I mentioned where I said I thought this was their biggest stream song. I'm surprised that this wasn't the lead single. It kind of has that like signature single sound. The electronic element is pretty heavy in this one, but it's really enjoyable. And the chorus is just fucking explosive. It's so good. They do it, several times. And I thought this song was definitely a standout. Very good.
All right. Well, I'll be honest with you. My mic just fell right on my head. So
I can hear you. I think you're okay.
That? Crazy stuff. Yeah. No, but it's funny because it has to happen during a song that I really, really love. I echo what you just said. I think War is just amazing. I think that it has this hard synth rock sound of like the late 90s. Like you think about bands that were from that time period, like I don't know, Stabbing Westward. There were others like that, but it kind of melds that sound with the modern sound that they're obviously identifying themselves with in this album, plus that Story of the Year vibe. It's just an amazing mix of metal and rock. Man, I thought this song was epic. I love the guitar. I called it the chainsaw guitars because it has that that chainsaw sound. It's just like it's even like a super like awesome dance beat. Like you feel like you could dance to this song. I can't dance. I have thought I could.
That'd be pretty cool to hear this in the club.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a period of time where I would openly dance at the clubs, and I could only imagine what that looked like. I could only imagine. But I was pretty good too. I don't think I was. But there's no film or video, so we'll never know. But what we will know is how awesome of a song this is. I stand behind that. War is amazing. I can see why it's the number one streamed on this album, and I can see why people like it. And I understand why you like it too. So we agree on one.
Okay. Very good.
We've agreed on a couple.
The next one?
We've agreed on a couple.
I think, yeah. We've actually, there's been a couple albums that we've mostly agreed on in this series.
Go ahead and talk about the next one.
Number 6 on the record is called Can't Save You. Real metal rock, kind of right from the onset, but it's that nice Dan singing to start, and then it goes kind of right into the screams. The chorus has this kind of big feel to it. It feels like it's kind of building and say what you want. It's kind of starts and it grows, and then at the end of it, you can feel the anger, the walk away if you want to. I'm fucking done. You can feel that anger and that scream. He really, really means it. It's second verse. I wrote I don't know I can't think of it in my head, but enjoy the guitars into these hi-hats on the drums. They did a really nice job with this. In the second chorus, they add this extra second part where he goes, "You can lie through your teeth, make me believe, poison the air till I can't even breathe," which isn't in the first chorus. So I like when bands do that. They take the original chorus and they kind of add to it. There's in the bridge, the lyrically is very simple. He's just kind of repeating, "It's too late for us, I can't save you." But again, it just builds and builds and builds. It goes on to this crescendo that just like blows up in that signature like hard rock story of the year way. So I enjoyed Can't Save You. Thought it was good.
Yeah, I think you said a lot of what I wanted to say. It's I'm not going to reiterate because I think you said it really, really, really well. The sing and respond with the screams, so the sing, scream, sing, scream, like that's amazing. I'm all in for that. I melt for that, just like my heart melts for the proverbial you out there. To get like that.
I'll stop the
What?
world and melt with you.
All right, spill my heart for you. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Whatever.
okay. That I would have got that.
Well, maybe I'm thinking of modern English and you just, you ruined
Womp
it.
womp womp.
How do you know I wasn't thinking about that band?
I don't know.
That's a shame because that was in a good mood, but now I'm not. No, I'm still in a good mood. I take that back. This is another banger because the up and down nature of the song is just spot on what I like. This is a 1-star song for me, and 1 star is not 1 out of 5 stars. 1 star means something in this scoring the scoring method. So think about everything that the Wingman Steve said. Throw in the fact that sing and respond is amazing. I still will melt for that, even though that's a different band. I don't care. I'm going to stand behind what I said. And I would listen to this song over and over and over again. And the hits just keep on coming. So I'll go into the next one. I know this is one that you want to talk about too, but I gotta say, like, next song is called 2005. You talk about tracks that make you feel. I said that about a song earlier, but this one takes the cake. This song, and this is not a hard driving song.
Nope.
This is not a song where there is any, I don't think there's any screams in this one. Maybe a little bit. I don't remember any. This is just a straightforward rock, maybe pop rock song, but there's something about it that makes you feel, especially people like me, potentially people like Wingman Steve that lived in 2005, that have nostalgia for 2005, where you were living you were just living like your transitional period in life during that time. Very turbulent time for me, but very, very fun. We were younger. It was just a great time in life, right? And you think about this song that brings you back there. They say the things that I want to hear. He talks about how we sang about spilling my heart for you. Like, that's amazing. When I heard that, I fell over. I was in the car. I didn't fall over, but it still was like, wow, that's really cool that they're harkening back to Page Avenue on a song. And I know other bands have done it. I don't care. I love it here. This is a 2-star. This actually took a 2-star because I love this one so much. And maybe it's my own selfish nostalgia for that time period in my life. And that's just that time period in general. But this song brings me back. And any song that can do that and make me feel a certain way about that time in my life, I think is a winner. So I am all in for 2005. Steve, what say you?
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Yeah, this song is pretty awesome. I too have great nostalgia for the year 2005 and that whole era. 2005 is a year that it was my last year in college. Like, that's like right before you're officially a grown up, and you've pretty much done most of the things you need to do to graduate, except finish it out officially. So it was that's a year that I wouldn't forget. I love the references to Until the Day I Die. Right, he says, "Remember when we'd say I'll spill my heart for you. We sang it so loud from growing up on Page Avenue to California Haze." I love when bands call back their own history, their own nostalgia. Like that one Weezer song that I liked. This song particularly, like, it incorporates, some electronic elements, which I think just add help to like the nostalgia feel, like, because you do get a nostalgia feeling just from the music here. This is the song where I thought the drum sounded a little drum machiney, but it doesn't take anything away. The chorus is just fantastic. You know, it's just one of those. He's talking about rooftops, dude. Talk about rooftops in a pop punk song. I'm all in on that. He talks about swinging from the basement ceiling. The video for this is actually all this old ass footage from Story of the Year. Funny stuff. Half of it is them like running around naked and punching each other in the head. But he used to actually like swing from a ceiling in the rooftop while they were playing. Hopefully they weren't running from the cops on the freeway all that much. But the chorus is just really great. It's just a song you can kind of vibe to, and you know it's a very personal song too because they're referencing Page Avenue, they're referencing 2003, 2005, especially I guess it's kind of a I don't know if it's a verse or if it's a bridge. He says from teenage wastelands to marquee lights. Made memories that will never die. And on that will never die, there's a very subtle kind of stylistic scream that's like perfect scream for me. So that's the one that I was able to catch in this one. So I think they knocked it out of the park. I don't do any star systems, but I mimic your star systems with this one. I think it was fantastic.
Mimic away.
I mimic them. And I'm not sorry about that. But the next song is called Sorry About Me. And I'll kick this one off. This is an acoustic ballady jam. And Chris, if we're comparing this album back to Page Avenue, isn't this pretty much, it sounds kind of like a callback to Sidewalks, right?
If you saw my page, you would see that I have written down Sidewalks Part 2. So we're on the same page.
There you go. Avenue. You kicked off 2005, so I had to steal that one from you. But yeah, I mean, this is a callback to Sidewalks, and Sidewalks is a fucking amazing song. It was one of my top favorite on that record. A lot of it is very acoustic, but the band kind of kicks in right after the first chorus. It does get harder towards the end. There's a nice guitar solo in there. I think this is a really good album track. I don't think they didn't release it as a single. I don't think it's a single, but it's a really good album track. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is kind of the first like ballad that we've heard. I think there's this one and one more.
Yeah, there is an additional one, and you're again spot on. This one just gives me all the feels back to how Sidewalks made me feel back then, but in a different way. It's a different song in a lot of ways. It does a great job with the transition back to the chorus. Man, that chorus just hits, doesn't it? Like it's awesome the way that just kind of amplifies the sound, the energy, just the hard driving nature of it, and then it transitions back from there. But that transition to the chorus is what I'm talking about. That's amazing. Man, I'll tell you what, like this is just another reason that I feel very confident in saying that none of these songs so far, like so far in this album, none of these songs are boring to me. None of these songs feel samey to me. None of them drag on. All of them I would listen to on its own, or in tandem, or over and over again, whatever, right? I think they've done such a good job up to this song, and we'll talk about the other ones too to see if that continues. But man, like this is why like I kind of started things off by saying it's a great album. I think that for all of you out there that have been listening to us and listening to what we're saying, hopefully you hear it, but hopefully you've gone out and listened to it for yourself too, so that you can hear what we're talking about in real life. And you can agree that these just resonate. These songs just resonate, especially for people like us and other people that like this kind of music. It works.
One more thing. You're saying that people should take the ride and listen to it themselves.
The pulsing guitars is the other thing about Sorry About Me that I really wanted to throw out there. Really like the pulsing guitars. That method I think I've called out on other albums for sure. But I love it on this song too. So a lot of cool stuff here. Another awesome song. And yes, I do want to take the ride. Talk about this one. So I just got on a soapbox to talk about how strongly I felt about this album thus far through Sorry About Me. I'm not going to sit here and say that I feel like Take the Ride is a step down. Maybe it just didn't hit me as much as some of the other ones. I think it's a fine, like you said, album song, Story of the Year song. I don't think it stands out as much, but I would still listen to it. It has a modern sound to it, very modern. it almost feels like it sounds like another song that I've heard recently, but I definitely can't put my finger on it. So I have no distaste for it, but to me, it maybe is just a slight step down from what we've heard so far. Curious, Steve, if you feel the same or different or indifferent.
I feel different. I think this is a pretty pop punky song, and that's probably why I like it a lot. It's got this like clappy kind of background to it that you get. It also has to me. I mean, obviously they're talking about take the ride. It does have that like open road feel to it. You know, they are talking about 125 on the dash. They're talking about let go of the wheel. But it does give you that like that it's a fun driving song kind of vibe. Disclaimer out there: I do not recommend turning off your headlights at 4 a.m. if you are lost. I would just say keep the headlights on. Don't get yourself into trouble. Kind of like 2005, the song, not the year. I feel like it just got this good like nostalgia vibe to it. So I think I like this one more than you did. I enjoyed it a lot.
Apparently, yeah. Apparently, and then that kind of brings us to the next one. So the next one's called Knives Out. Is this I'd like to know if this is a callback at all to the movie Knives Out.
I would, it definitely went through my mind because I watched both those movies. But I would probably think it's just more about the what do you call that? The metaphor of having the knives out. I don't think it's connected to the movie personally.
Well, maybe someday we'll find out, but I think this is kind of another one for me that feels it's it's not the same type of song as Take the Ride. And yeah, by the way, I knew when I listened to it that you would be all over that one. I knew it, and I was
Yeah.
right. Should have
Yep.
said that, but again, not a bad thing. A little bit too maybe it was just a little bit too poppy and not enough punk for me. I don't know, but that's up to the ear of the beholder. Knives Out. Yeah, I mean, look, this definitely another cool like kind of guitar line in this one. A lot of effects. Not sure about this one though. I think this one definitely has a very very thick throwback feel to it too. The sound feels like I'm back in the early 2000s, which by rights should really get me interested in this, but I don't know. I just didn't feel like I was as once again as connected to this song as I have been up to a couple songs back. So I think it tries a lot of cool creative stuff. I don't mind it. It has a fast tempo, and I don't know about the lyrics, but the sound is okay. I just didn't love it.
I'm kind of surprised because, and you know what? Some more praise is that the tracking on this on the album is good because right we had that pop punky song and this one gets like right back into that like harder sound. There's like the pre-chorus scream that come play with me then you'll see. Like I thought that's like your deal, like you love that shit. I think the chorus is pretty kick ass. I really like the electronics that's in there. They make it fit with the story of the year sound. Again, there is a good scream here. Really hard breakdown before they kind of come back in with the last chorus. So again, this story of the year thing where they come in hard, but then they take away most of the music. They softly sing part of it and then come back in like real hard. So I thought Knives Out was really cool. And there's also, it's got this like, I don't know exactly what it is. It's kind of like a gang vocal sound right at the end where they're saying knives out till we all fall down. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought you'd call me out on liking the gang vocals.
You asked me to stop doing that, so I did. I stopped doing it.
It's like it's like the little kids, in middle school. You don't want them to poke you, but then you're like, oh, why is that person not paying attention to me?
So I'm a little kid. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just making a comparison.
To a little kid.
You're not a little kid. You're a big kid.
I'm a big
You're a
kid.
big old kid.
Hey, well, maybe so. I have no transition, but the last song here is called Use Me. That does not go with anything we just talked about. It's a ballad, right? It's a
Yes,
ballad.
sir.
I don't have any notes here, but I can say that I thoroughly enjoyed this ballad. I really did. I I know that last songs on albums sometimes I can be super hypercritical. But and especially with a ballad too, it's got to be something that really, really just is there for me. That something about the melody is that's what I'm into, and this has it. So I think through and through, um, I like the way that they kind of wrapped up this album. I'd have to go back and kind of remember how Story of the Year wraps up their albums. Can't remember whether they end the album on a ballad for what's the last track on Page Avenue? I don't know if you know or not, but I can't remember.
It's called Falling Down, but I can't remember. I don't remember if it was a ballad or not.
It's not. I don't think
Okay.
so. So, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. I like this song. I think it's a fun ballad. It makes again. It has all the feels. Has a really nice melody to it, and I think it wraps things up in a nice way. This is not boring. I think sometimes maybe ballads at the end of albums can be boring, and you just want to get back to the cool stuff at the beginning. I don't think this does that. So I'm into this one, and I like the way they ended the album.
Yeah, pretty much the same for me. Not a ton of notes. I think Dan sounds great. It's a great ballad. I don't mind them ending it with a slow one. It doesn't lose my attention. I like the Story of the Year kind of slow acoustic vibe. Maybe it's because I love that when they redid Page Avenue all acoustic. I was real into it. So I think this one fits perfectly well there. Don't mind them closing it out with the acoustic one. It's a nice song. And I honestly just don't think that there's a skip song on this record. I'm not going to say that it's like the greatest record of all time, but like it legitimately does not have a skippable song.
No, I don't think so either. Like I was a little bit more. I don't want to even say critical, but a little bit down on the last several songs. But I wouldn't skip them. I think still that they're that good. Where I would listen to this front to back several times just because, and I would be into it every time. So, and I intend to do that this week too because I have some drive time. So it's going to be a fun time listening to this album again.
There you go. I've been listening to it like nonstop for quite some time, and a lot of the f bombs my daughter has caught, and I'm like, oh, is that what he said? Oh well.
Oh no, he didn't say that. You're hearing things. Don't worry about it.
Heckin. He said heckin.
He sure did. Heckin', heckin' it. I like that. We should do something with that.
Okay.
Heckin' it. No, instead of heckin' it,
HSNE scribe, write that down.
let's let's go to ranking it. I think that sounds a lot better. This is the segment, ladies and gentlemen, on High School Never Ends, where we rank our favorite stuff. And as we normally do, depending on the subject matter of the show, we take our favorite 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever it is, and rank it from front to back. So today, because we're talking about the album Tear Me to Pieces by Story of the Year that came out in the year 2023, we're going to rank our top three favorite songs. And as we normally do, I'm going to let Wingman Steve go first and sound off on his top three songs.
Yeah, most of this was not all that hard, other than figuring out which song to put at 3, because I was between War and Tear Me to Pieces, but I'm giving it to War. I think that one is pretty epic. So War is going to get the number 3 spot. Number 2 and number 1, I pretty much knew from my first and second go-arounds through this album. Number 2 is going to Take the Ride, and number 1 is 2005, like by far. I think that the nostalgia vibe to that one just like immediately pulled me in. And it's not like the most Story of the Year-ish song, because it doesn't have like the screams and stuff like that. But it's phenomenal.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to be a little bit boring here, but it's not going to be completely the same. Dead and Gone for me is number 3. Again, love this song, ton of energy. I just, there was not a bad thing about that particular track for me. Dead and Gone. Go listen to it if you haven't yet, especially if you like harder driving songs. Number 2, Can't Save You. Similar idea there. They just crush it here. It's just everything about it, the tempo, the melody, the delivery, the energy. I still melt for that one. So I melt for it. Do you hear that?
Yes.
They do say, by the way, in metal, it'll melt you because of the sound. So
Gotcha.
that's what I was referring to, in case you were wondering. In
Perfect.
case you were wondering. But number 1, nostalgia wins the day. It's 2005. We've said all the reasons. Guys, if you like Story of the Year and you grew up during that period of time, listen to this song. If you haven't yet, you'll feel the same way we did. And if you didn't grow up during that period of time, but you love pop punk, you love this band, or you're just very curious because we're gushing about it so much, go take a listen. I guarantee you're going to enjoy it as much as we did.
Yeah, and if you're a band out there and you want to write a song that relates to old people like us, write a song about a year. Like Settle Your Scores did 1999. That song was awesome. Story of the Year 2005. Just write a song about a year that's like between, I don't know, 95 and '05, and we'll probably like it. We'll relate to it.
Summer of 69, 1979 by the Smashing Pumpkins, which had some nostalgia for me.
Well, yeah, we listened to that when we were, youths.
Yeah, it was definitely, but that song doesn't really harken back to anything. It just talks about being young. So it's not about necessarily anything in 1979
Yeah.
specifically, but it's a great song.
Yeah. Chris, I want to do one more ranking it if we can.
Uh it's highly irregular. Maybe.
It's the last one of the year. We
All
just got done talking about 2023. We did a whole series on this. I think maybe we should give our top 3 2023 releases. The albums that we like the best that came out this year. And it doesn't have to be one of these ones that we've recently talked about. But recently we did talk about Blinks One More Time. We talked about MXPX, Find Your Way Home. We talked about Taking Back Sundays, 152. We talked about Olivia Rodrigo's Guts. And we talked about Story of the Year, Tear Me to Pieces Tonight. We also did review the new Fall Out Boy record that was several months ago. We did that in, I don't know, April-ish. And there were lots of other albums that came out this year. So since I knew I was going to surprise you with this, I'll just keep talking and I'll give you my top 3 records of the year, and then we'll see if you put something together. But I think for me, number 3 is going to be a toss up, or maybe it's a tie. I'm gonna give a tie between Taking Back Sundays 152 and this record, Tear Me to Pieces. I think both of them were like in the exact same vein. They were records of bands that I was like really into back in the day, that I'm still into, but not as much into. I didn't have a ton of expectation behind them, and they really just impressed me. And then number 2 is going to be Fall Out Boy, So Much for Stardust. And number 1 has to be Blink-182's One More Time. I thought that record was great. We spent 2.5 hours talking about it, and I'm still listening to it. So those are my top albums of 23.
Yep. I'm putting, I'll just say right now, I'm putting Fall Out Boy's album in last place below all of these albums and every other album that has come out ever.
That's a good album,
So,
but do it you may, do it you must.
I don't know. Whatever. You know me. I don't like to be negative, but I will be negative when it's necessary. So this is one of those times. But back to the positive. 152 is number 3 by far. You guys heard what I had to say about that track. I was surprised. I was surprised that I liked it as much as I did. I know that there was some differing opinions, especially on our. I was just thinking of like things that aren't what I'm thinking of, but our Discord. A lot of opinions out there about this album, but that's okay, right? I guess that's music, and that's the way it is. But it resonated with me. Number 2 is this album, Tear Me to Pieces. It's classic Story of the Year. It just brings back everything I loved about this band once again. Put it back in the forefront. Made me remember why I loved this band so much. And it does new things too. So it's not just the old formula. It mixes in some new twists on their style of music that I think work very well. So Tear Me to Pieces, and then number 1 is One More Time, by far. Just a big Blink-182 fan, and despite the people that maybe didn't like it as much, I don't care. I think it was awesome, and I think it was an awesome album, and it's definitely my number 1 of 2023.
I kind of figured as much. Me too. If you don't like that album, you can go to heck. No big deal.
I mean, come on, Tom's back. It's what I've been waiting for. I've been whining about it on this show for how long since we started doing this. He's back. I don't know what type of album they would have needed to come out with to have me turn against it. Now maybe I wouldn't have ranked it number one if it wasn't as good as it was, but I think it was. So it's a moot point.
Twas. And Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for listening to High School Never Ends in 2023. We had an episode every week, sometimes two, and we have some exciting things for 2024.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. Can we reflect just real quick? Like I think, for all of you out there that have been with us from day one, thank you. We've come a long way since we first started doing this. Man, I remember that first episode, and it seems like a world away from right now. So I don't think I can say enough how much I appreciate you guys out there that have listened to our show, even if you listen to it just once, or if you've listened to it. How many episodes do we have, Wingman Steve?
Well, this is episode 204.
If you listen to us 204 times or one time, we thank you. We appreciate you. You guys, we're doing this for our love of this music, but we're also doing it for your love of the music too, and your love of the show. So, man, I can't say enough good things about you guys out there. And as long as you keep listening, we'll keep doing it.
Absolutely, and I'll reflect a little bit on some of the things that we've done through 2023. We kind of converted our show to be a bunch of little mini series, kind of helped us keep some themes and make it easier for planning and everything like that. But we kicked off the year. We were doing something called High School Never Ends Goes Punk Goes, where we had current bands on. A bunch of them did cover songs for us, and we talked about Victory Records Punk Goes series. Throughout the year, we probably had arguably two of our biggest interviews ever. We interviewed Andrew McMahon and Ryan Key basically within a month, which was very crazy and cool. And thank you to both those guys for coming on our show, and thank anybody for listening who did. We kicked off May. We did Movie May. We talked about music movies. Maybe we'll be bringing that back. We did You Pick 'em June, where we gave the listeners the ability to pick the albums we were going to spotlight, and then we had the people that nominated those albums on the show to talk about them. We did Drive Through Summer's Leftovers in July, and we became best friends with Tom Kiger. We also talked to Hidden in Plain View, which was pretty awesome. We did High School Never Ends Goes Punk Goes again in August. Then the epic September series that was called, Chris?
Wheeze Timber.
That's right. Wingman Steve finally broke and decided to allow Chris the ability to talk about four of his favorite Weezer records, and we brought on some other super Weezer fans. So thank all our guests who came on. That was fun. I'm sure Chris enjoyed that.
Thanks for your permission, Wingman Steve.
I acquiesced. It wasn't permission. In October, we did Altober, where we went through some alternative records. We did November Nostalgia not that long ago, where we took a look back on the year 2003, which was 20 years ago. And then we followed that up in December with 2023 look back. So we went from 03 to this year. We talked about albums from this year. And I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag, Chris, because we've been promoting it through Instagram already. But coming up in January, we're going to be debuting High School Never Ends Jeopardy. So we've got pop punk and emo trivia. We have 3 games plus a championship round that is going to be super fun. I cannot wait to do that. I'm going to pretend to be Alex Trebek, and it's going to be fun. That's what's coming up soon, and more fun to come.
More fun to come. We got a ton of new ideas that Steve and I have been talking about for 2024. We cannot wait for those ideas to become a reality. Also, you never know what guests we're going to have on next year. We have some big plans, some big ideas, some big names that we've reached out to. So we'll see. But once again, thanks for listening. Appreciate you guys. And I guess that kind of does it for us. So I'll go ahead and start to wrap things up here with a quick plug for all of our socials. Guys, if you enjoyed any of those mini series or episodes specifically, or maybe what we just talked about right now, we'd love to hear back from you. via the socials. Let us know what you think about any of the miniseries from 2023 or maybe even years prior to that. Let us know what you'd like to hear in 2024. We're open to suggestions, but hit us up. You can find links to all of our social handles in our hub. And how do you get to the hub? Super simple. www.hsnepod.com. That'll show you everything you need to see from a social standpoint.
That's right. And if you like our show, give us 5 stars on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and write a little written review or tell us what you thought about the episode in Spotify. That always helps us with the algorithm for the small amount of people out there that are looking for a pop punk dad podcast. But we want to be the number one. So do that. And if you got some gift cards for Christmas, go to hsnepod.com, like highschoolneverendsPod.com. Buy a hoodie, buy a mug, buy a t-shirt, buy a dad hat, buy a trucker hat. We got a bunch of cool shit. We got some cool new designs. Anything that you guys can do out there to help support our show and our independent radio network, the Dragon Wagon Radio Network, is more than appreciated. So have a happy new year from Chris and I. We will see you on the other side in 2024. Until then, be safe on New Year's Eve. Keep on rocking your dad bods. Throw up your rock hands and blast the pop punk.
If you're enjoying this podcast or any podcasts on the Dragon Wagon Radio Network, be sure to check out the Dragon Wagon shop. You can tout your podcast pride while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. Make sure to check it often for new items and limited time designs. So shop now at dragonwagonshop.com. Get your dragon swag on.
It's Dragon Wagon.